person who was supposed to do the catering said there shall be no food because there was no money. There was no money. The orders that were supposed to be made, we thought we would pay later. They said the suppliers cannot buy anything, so there will be no food.
So tomorrow you won't have.
I said to her, the cards say there shall be a reception at the same venue, so there will be food. And the next morning, the husband to the caterer came to see me because they were calling early in the morning. They were calling. I was putting up with some friends in Ngumba then for that night. And they were calling me and they wanted to know, how much do you have? And some guy had given me money to buy some shoes for the wedding, and it was something, I think I had about 3,000 shillings. When he came, when the husband to the caterer came, I gave him 3,000 shillings, and I said, let there be food. Quite an amount, but...
I can't remember, but they were expecting quite some money.
You know, I said, you work with us. But this was my faith, that God will multiply food. You know, when we finished after the wedding, it is the lady who was doing the catering who told us God multiplied food. She said that herself. I didn't say it. She's the one who said God multiplied food. Because people came in and they were able to eat, and there was leftover. So that was part of the drama in the morning. I think I was getting a suit Saturday morning. That day there was so bad traffic. I had no car to pick me. The only available car, I sent it to South Sea to go and pick the bride and the girls, and then go to Ngong Road. So they got there quite late. I had no car to pick me. The best couple that we should have used backed out, I think, a week to the wedding, you know. So we had to step in best couple quite very quickly. They were very scared. They said, we don't have what to wear. We said, just get anything, put it on and come along. The men who were to be in my line could not afford the suits of, was it 4,000, 5,000 or 3? They couldn't afford, so they all backed out. So I got some preaching friends, and I told them, you guys are coming in. And they were all foreigners. One was a Ugandan based in South Africa, one was a South African, and then another one, a Ugandan based in Uganda. They had come to visit, they were preaching at a certain church. So I told them, you guys are coming in. So they come in to the wedding in this Peugeot 504. One is dressed in white African wear, another one is dressed in blue, another one is dressed in gray. I jumped into a matatu from Ngumba, you know, because I couldn't wait. So I came out alone all the way to the city center, and then from there picked up a little girl, my sister's daughter, whom
The flower girl. Okay.
yes, and picked her up, then got into a taxi to Ngong Road. So we were all arriving from all directions, you know. And we found the man that was going to join our wedding, Reverend Martin Bandu. He was there by 10. He had arranged the chairs, cleaned them up. You know, he's such an amazing man, that one is. So that was part of our drama. You know, after the wedding, quite a number of my friends, young guys, they came to me to lay hands on them, right?
To pray for them.
To pray for them. They couldn't believe. And because most people then used to think that ladies wouldn't marry you if you were not at a certain financial level. So they came. You know, we finished the reception and I was laying hands on people on my wedding day so that they have breakthroughs. And when we finished, we didn't even have anywhere to go, you know, there was no honeymoon plan. The important thing was we wanted to get married, so we didn't mind if we were going to stay on the streets. It would be fine, because then I would say, this is my wife. And while we were trying to find a place, there's a friend of ours, he's now based in South Africa. He went around trying to get some people to get us a place to spend the night. Then the lady who had picked her, the only car available, she came in to see her husband in the city center. They came back to pick us. She was supposed to be away, so she was just supposed to drop her at the wedding and then leave. So we had no plan for how we were going to get off the wedding ground. But that lady stayed on for the whole while. And when they were getting us out of the wedding grounds, They asked us, so where are you going? And we said, home. The truth was at that time there was no home because we were trying to find a different place to stay and we couldn't. And they said, the husband said, so why don't I take you somewhere for a night? And we said, glory be to Jesus. He ended up paying for several days.
Three nights.
Yeah, he ended up paying for 3 nights. I said, God works miracles. And they did some shopping, gave us some pocket money. God works miracles. So we started in the simplest of ways. Yeah, there's this lady who, at the house where she stayed, where they spent the night, the lady had taken up the issue of the cake. And then one other lady we weren't even close to had come up with the thing of, she had several gowns, so if she could use one, she went and fitted in and got a gown there to fit in, so we didn't even hire any, you know, God knows how to take care of his people. To tell you the truth, our wedding did not cost 50,000.
No, it did not.
Our wedding did not cost 50,000, but you see, I always say it's not written on our faces.
No, you can't tell. It doesn't show.
It did not cost 50,000, so yeah. Marriage is more than a wedding. Marriage is a covenant, marriage is a connection, marriage is a commitment. If you are not committed to each other, doesn't matter what you do on your wedding day. If there is no connection, doesn't matter how expensive you try to connect something that is not really connected. The interesting thing is that we are spending more on weddings, the budgets are going higher, but then the duration of marriages is getting shorter. People are divorcing at 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they're separating at the first year. I think the important thing should be the two of you, what you want to build. You see, most of the expenses we incur during weddings are for people. It's for people. The two of you can even just have a cake in their house and go to the AG. Yeah. I'm not saying they should go to the AG, but I'm just trying to show you that most of the other things that we do are usually for people. All those budgets are for people. So some of those budgets are the size of our egos, you know, where we think that we've got to look in a certain way. It doesn't make sense to spend 1 million on a wedding and then go back in the back of Kayole somewhere in a room and then you start living life over there and you struggle to pay your rent of 6,000 shillings and you have photos from a glamorous wedding. You should have invested that money. There's a couple that we mentor, and when they were going to get married, we told them, talk to your committee, let them pay your rent. That would make more sense as you begin. And they took it and their committee paid rent for 10 months. I thought that is more, that's better, you know, than spending everything on the wedding day. If you have the money and you can afford it, it's all right. But don't make enemies out of big budgets. You know, people didn't give me money, people didn't support me. You're trying to get to look in a certain way that, you know, you can't sustain it. The Bible says that, you know, your beginning may be small, your latter days will be greater. So you grow. In marriage, you start from a place and then you grow. You look back, now we're laughing about where we've come from, and it's only 12 years. You know, it's only 12 years, we've walked a journey. I think that's better because then every day, every step that you take, it strengthens your relationship because you look at where you were and where you are right now. And even when life hits you with anything, you can always tell yourself, we used to be down and we've come up. So if you have the money to afford it, that's fine. If you don't have it, don't kill yourself.
You really don't have to.
Don't kill yourself because eventually after the wedding, everybody leaves. And it's the two of you that are left over there, so you don't get under pressure.